Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The date is January 31st, 2015, and there's a little bit of Dodger paradise here in the middle of winter in Los Angeles. Now, of course, it doesn't look like the middle of winter because it never looks like the middle of winter in Los Angeles, but winter it is, and today we will be at Dodger Stadium for FanFest. For Dodgers-LowDown, I'm Eric Becker, and welcome. As you can see, things are really hopping here at Dodger Stadium this morning. The beer's already flowing at 11 a.m. Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Always 5 o'clock at Dodger Stadium, especially on the day of the game. They decided to hold the FanFest inside this year, which is a little different than prior years when they've held it in the parking lot. And people get to mill around down on the field. So I'm looking forward to checking out everything that's going on and getting some good quality time with the ballpark right now during the off season. Maybe an entry to the field if I come down this way. So let's head down to the field and check it out. And we are officially down here on the field at Dodger Stadium, and there are all sorts of great activities. It's like MLB Network has one of those machines where you throw the pitches. They have activity waivers. I haven't checked out yet to see if that costs anything, but there's a lot of things to do and just a lot of people milling around here. Dodger Paradise in January. I'd love to see them try to do this in Chicago or New York or a place like that right now. Too cold, but it's 70-ish degree day here in Los Angeles. The ballpark looks amazing. You can see the sun reflecting off the third base side seats. The only thing missing is a little bit of work on the lawn. But I guarantee you by opening day, this sod will be impeccable. But with all the foot traffic today, you know, they're not gonna put too much work into it because we will tear up this field today with our shoes just walking around. So but this is really an honor and a privilege to be able to get down on the stadium grounds and really get access to an extent that fans don't normally get access. Looks like one of the things that they got going on today is walking around the bases. It's not really running around the bases, but I think we might just do that. So let's get ready to round the bases here at Dodger Stadium. All right, now we're in the social media lounge, and I have found Eric.
What's up?
Eric is the founder of Dodgers-LowDown, the very site on which you may be watching this video.
Yeah?
Assuming he lets me post it. Eric, what have you done so far today at FanFest?
I got thrown out at third during Run the Bases. Seen some of the players do their interviews. Now they got Hershiser and McGuire up there, I guess.
Oh, nice.
So I'm probably gonna head over there, catch that, and then just chill.
Sounds good to me. Well, this is kind of a cool little lounge to hang out in. This is my first FanFest. I don't know if they've had anything like this in the past, but sort of a nice spot. I was talking about how Southern California, unlike if you go to Chicago or New York or a place like that, we can afford to have FanFest in the middle of January because we have days like this where the sun is just, I mean, the only thing missing is a little bit of patching on the grass and 18 men with balls, bats, and gloves playing a ball game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, I was worried about the weather with it raining yesterday, but it came out nice and it looks pretty good today.
It is a wonderful day to be at the ballpark, and I believe we got a full season of wonderful days at the ballpark ahead of us. Now, where do you see this team going this year?
I see this team hopefully going all the way. I mean, you know, obviously we say that every year, but, you know, we'll see what happens. should be interesting. Should see the new roster. Catch Kendrick and Grandal and see what these guys are capable of.
Yeah, it's definitely been an off season of big moves and some shaking up in the organization. Do you see an area where the organization still maybe needs to make some moves as we move toward spring training?
I mean, obviously, everyone's been saying, especially on Low-Down, that we need a primary setup man. So I mean, that's remains to be seen. Obviously we can see that happening. Maybe we can get a couple new prospects. Maybe get Makata from the infielder, although he won't be up this year if they sign him. But yeah, I mean, pretty much this roster is pretty much set to go.
It does look very robust, to be sure.
Yeah.
And I personally feel like a lot of people are concerned about how are you going to replace Kemp's production. But if you look at it, it's not just Kemp's production; it's also Hanley's, it's D. Gordon's. And I believe if you take the players that are replacing those guys, you're going to make up that production. I think that the offense is going to be fine.
Yeah, this year's team is not going to be a superstar-ridden lineup that's going to be every guy, one guy trying to do everything. This lineup's going to be 1 through 8 you're working better as a team. So this lineup's actually, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people.
Justin Turner exploded on the scene. A little slow in April and then just took off like a rocket. Do you think he's going to have a similar year this year, or are you expecting a little bit more steady?
I'm probably expecting a little more steady. I mean, I expected when they signed him that he was going to be a 260, 270 hitter, which is his career numbers. He surprised the hell out of me this past year. So if he could do anywhere close to that, I think it's a great idea for him to be back in Dodger blue.
Very nice. Jock Peterson. A lot of hype around this young man. A little disappointing September, but there have been a lot of guys who come out of the minor leagues and have a disappointing September and then just explode the next year. Do you think we're going to see that out of Jock this year, or what are you seeing there?
I think he's going to really come in, and I don't think he's going to put up the kind of numbers that he did at AAA. I think that's a little bit of a lofty expectation, but if the kid gets a chance to play every day, I think we're going to see some pretty special things out of him. This kid is, last night MLB.com ranked him as the number 13th prospect in all of baseball. So this kid's got the talent. They even did last night, they said, the Dodgers, the last time they had a rookie of the year was back when Todd Hollandsworth got it. And that Peterson could be the guy to break that spell. So it remains to be seen, but I think he's going to do some special things.
And obviously some great talent historically coming out of our minor league system. A little lull during the Fox and McCourt days. Hopefully we have... They're talking about social media over there and how, thank God, there was no social media. We are obviously social media hawks, and one of the things with Dodgers Lowdown is we are hoping to be on top of as much as we possibly can this year.
Yep.
Where do you see, getting off the subject of the team, where do you see Dodgers Lowdown going this year? What do you want to accomplish with it?
This year, I'm hoping that we continue to expand. I'm hoping to continue to see the page grow. I mean, we've got it up to 77,000 followers. I'd like to hit 100. That's my goal. I mean...
Oh, do I hear 250 though? Do I hear 250?
Possibly. I mean, it's going to see what happens. Hoping we can get more of a website going this year and continue to expand.
More content, more articles, more interaction with the fans.
More headaches for the owner.
More headaches for the owner. This guy is the most dedicated man in Dodgers social media, bar none. He is the Ned Coletti as far as hours spent.
Wait, do I want to be associated?
As far as hours spent, you can say what you want about his acquisitions, but you cannot dispute that the man gets no sleep.
That is
during
true.
the
I'd like to be considered more the Andrew Friedman of the
Let's say the Ned Coletti as far as tenacity, but the Andrew Friedman as far as making it happen.
Okay, I'll go with you on that.
All right, let's go with that.
Bulldog and Karras are really talking it up over there.
They sure are. We're going to take a head over there. Eric, thanks for your time, and let's get ready for the season.
Sounds good.
For this year, I'm excited for this season, and I think this
Eric
is
Karras and Oral Hershiser
back to the World Series.
What do you think, Laura?
I'm excited. I've seen all the changes. I'm like Eric. We know how it is as a player to go to a new team, and even though the current Dodgers are not going to a new team, it's going to feel like they went to a new team with all the changes. What it's going to be like to go in the food room, what it's going to be like to be on a team bus, the first road trips in spring training. So the early development of chemistry on this team is going to be very important. As far as the ability, I trust our leadership now to put the right guys on the field, and don't look at a roster like it's the finished product. It is a finished product as you get past the trade deadline, as we get into the season. But for right now, this is the way they want to start, and I'm really excited to watch this team.
And you see this ring on his finger right here. That's the 88 World Championship ring. There it is. We need another one of those here in Los Angeles for this 2015 Dodger team. Eric Karros, the all-time home run king in Los Angeles Dodgers history with 270. And the greats, Oral Hershiser, 1988. Say no more. Thank you guys for joining us.
We watched The Homesman. Has anybody heard that movie? No. It's probably the worst movie I've ever heard in my life.
No, that's why nobody's seen it. Only you would go to a movie that nobody would see.
I didn't go to the movies. I rented it.
Jeez. Well, that's better. At least you didn't spend the full $25 on it.
Don't go see The Homesman.
Back to the beard for just a second. Is it now, from now on, is it just going to go? You're going to grow it? Or are you going to trim it?
No, I'm going to trim it. My wife has a lot of say in what goes on my face, so this is kind of edgy for her.
Can you talk about the evolution of Scott Van Slyke, or where you were, a minor league player of the year 3 or 4 years ago, a guy that really a lot of people were counting out, and now you've come back, and the Dodgers this year in 2015 are counting on you to be a big part of what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, it's kind of been a roller coaster ride. I was really bad for a few years. I was really good for a few years in the minor leagues. I was really bad in the big leagues, and then I was decent. And then last year I had a good year. So just trying to keep that trend of just kind of going forward.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that you have a right-handed bat and with power, and you played all the positions in the outfield, including playing some infield at first base. Do you have a preference in the outfield? When you played center field, you did a nice job. People asked me earlier, they said, you can't play center. I said, the Dodger coaches think you can play center, and when you get good jumps out there, you get good reads. And Rick Monday, who was a great center fielder in his day, really likes you out there.
Yeah, I think, you know, a lot of being an outfielder has to do with communication, knowing where to throw the ball, knowing situations, when to throw it home, when to hit the cutoff man. And I really pride myself on knowing what's going on in the game. You know, I may not be as fast as Puig, but I feel like I get as good as
like you are.
Some days. But I feel like I take pretty good routes to the ball and try to give a good effort. So.
Scott Van Slyke is joining us on the main stage here at Dodger FanFest, and obviously I'm not sure if the fans are aware, but you have a locker very close to A.J. Ellis and Clayton Kershaw, and you're pretty tight with Kershaw himself. We were talking about that acceptance speech, and we agree with Tim Wall, maybe one of the best baseball acceptance speeches of an award. Was that the real Kershaw that you see on an everyday basis that the fans don't get to see?
No, Clayton's... however you imagine Clayton, that's exactly how he is. You don't get any fluff. You don't get any BS with him. He usually says what he means and means what he says. And that kind of summed it up. His speech kind of summed it up at the end, what he said. Thank you, Cardinals. I think he's had success during the regular season, but I think now his focus is having success in the postseason. So a motivated Kershaw is pretty dangerous.
We are back on Dodger Talk, live from Dodger FanFest on the main stage. And a lot of people are in front of the main stage waiting for a certain man that really doesn't need an introduction. He's been the soundtrack to all of our summers for going into his 66th season. We're talking about the one and only, the Hall of Famer, Vince Scully.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you. I had a sinking feeling. I came in the gate, I saw so many cars, and I thought, my God, they're playing and I'm late. So it's a tribute to all of you, and we deeply appreciate the fact that you'd spend a little time with us. By the way, although I have been here since the place opened in April of 1962, I have never been down near the visiting bullpen. Our bullpen, yes, but never down here. And if you can look way up where it says Dodger Stadium, and then you can see the radio and TV booths, you can understand to get from there down here to get back to there, it would be the third inning. There's another reason why I don't come down here, and that's because of Tommy Lasorda's Italian restaurant. When Tommy was the manager of the Dodgers, and we would be on the road, and whether they won or lost, Tommy would be really excited after the game. And he always insisted that we would go to an Italian restaurant and have dinner at 11 o'clock at night. Finally, I told him one day, Tommy, I'm sorry, but I can't go anymore. And he said, why? And I said, I had this terrible nightmare. I was being chased by a giant clam screaming linguine. So even to get this close to his restaurant gives me a few chills. Nowadays, I'm smart. Before I go to bed, I have Mexican food. That way, I go to sleep dreaming of mariachi bands and dancing senoritas. Tell you an interesting thing about this bullpen. In the days when we did radio and not television, if you were up in that booth way up there, you would be looking down in the bullpen, especially at night, when there would be two pitchers warming up. We could see the pitcher on the outside towards the pavilion, but inside it was virtually impossible to figure out who the pitcher was warming up. Today it's easy because they have a television camera in there and they show you who the pitchers are. So the best thing would happen is when we played the Cincinnati Reds. And I'll tell you why. There was a fellow with the Reds, a relief pitcher named George Culver. And George would be sitting on a bench directly down, and George brought a transistor radio into the bullpen. And so we'd be doing a game, and I'd say, well, the Reds have two pitchers up. I know one of them is so-and-so. George, is that so-and-so? And George would take his cap off if we had the right name for the pitcher. So these fellas not only come out of here to relieve the pitcher, in the old days they used to really bail us out in the radio booth. One other thing, and I've always thought about this, let's just imagine there's a kid with a visiting team from a very small town, wherever it might be, wherever. And he's in this bullpen, and he's called a warm-up and to come in a tough spot in the game. And then imagine that the game is sold out. So just turn a minute and look at the size of this ballpark. Picture 55,000 people, and you're 19 years old, and you're from Echahoquia in Navajoa. And here you come out of that bullpen with this place full of people. I really don't understand how they ever are able to function properly. At least with us, we're aware of the crowd up in the press box, but you don't hear the individual voices like we used to hear in Ebbets Field. Probably the most embarrassing moment I've ever suffered from a fan was from a lovely woman in Brooklyn by the name of Hilda Chester. And Hilda Chester used to have a cowbell. She would bring it to the ball game. Most of the time she sat in the bleachers, but occasionally she'd actually wander around the ballpark. And it was a quiet Saturday afternoon, and we were playing a last place team, so there weren't a lot of people in the ballpark. And it was my first year, and Red Barber was doing his usual great job, and I was just sitting there very prim and proper, writing down the plays. And all of a sudden I heard this deep, basso profundo voice of Hilda Chester. And she said, "Vin Scully, I love you." And the crowd laughed, and I kind of put my head down. I was very shy. And she said, "Look at me when I'm talking to you." So I promise, if you call to me, I will look at you at least. I'm also delighted to be looking at you as this is the official beginning of the 2015 year. And believe me when I tell you that I am highly honored and deeply grateful to be here today.
God bless you.
At my age, I'm deeply grateful to be anywhere. It's coming fast, isn't it? Before we know it, spring training followed by opening day. There was a book once written by a fine writer named Tom Boswell, and the headline of the book was, "Life Begins on Opening Day." And for many of us, I think that's a true statement. We survive our way through basketball, hoping the Lakers will survive. And we hoping for the Kings and for the Ducks, and we want them all to succeed. But if you're a true fan, and especially if you're a Dodger fan, deep down inside you're saying, please, get out of the way. Get off the stage. Here come the Dodgers. Anyway, I just want you to know how delighted I am to see so many smiling faces, see so much Dodger blue, although it's not necessary to be a Dodger fan, but it's worth your life coming here if you're not. Now, we are thrilled to have you here today. Hope you enjoy yourself. You've heard enough of me for 66 years. I'll back off.
And now I'm here today with Debbie DeMello, who is all the way here from, and I'm coming down here just to show everyone. Now let everyone know where in Massachusetts you are from.
New Bedford, Mass.
How close is that to Boston, out of curiosity?
About 45 minutes.
So you're just outside of Boston, but you're a big-time Dodger fan.
Yep.
And you flew all the way out here for FanFest.
Yes.
That is amazing, and that just goes to show how deep these blue bloods run. Now, how did you become a Dodger fan?
I got into baseball probably about 15 years ago, and I started out watching the Red Sox because that's all I had.
So you obviously living in New England.
Yep, and then one day I just happened to be flipping the channels at night, ESPN, I seen a Dodger game, and I was like, wow, this is the team for me. Went to see them at Fenway in 2010, and been a diehard fan probably since maybe 2005, 2004.
So we converted you from Red Sox Nation right as they were becoming World Series champions.
Yes,
too. So
I was
really
never
something.
comfortable there. The fan base, the people, it was
Makes sense.
not the team for me. I like being here. I love the Dodger fans.
Well, of course, we're glad to have you here at the ballpark. So what are you planning to do today while you're out here?
I'm going to meet Yasiel Puig.
And you have your voucher?
Yep.
Wow, and those were hard vouchers to come by, is my understanding. I'm curious, did you get it through the normal voucher process, or did you have to get it on the secondary market?
Secondary market.
How much did you pay? We're all curious.
$190.
$190 for a Yasiel Puig autograph. Well, that is dedication right there. Debbie, we are so glad to have you out at the ballpark today, and we hope you come out during the season.
Thank you, I will. I'll be here beginning of July.
All right. And now I'm here with Elizabeth Zarate, founder and chief manager of Dodgers Brooklyn to Los Angeles, another great Dodgers page. And Liz has come all the way out from the desert today to participate in FanFest. So Liz, what are you thinking so far?
There's a lot of people here.
A lot of people.
It's good to see all the fans here supporting the team.
And I'm sure you're bumping into a lot of people who are from your group and from just around the community and saying hey to everyone. So obviously the Dodgers with some big off-season shakeups on their roster. Matt Kemp unfortunately no longer with the team, and we know Kemp was your favorite, and of course we wish him well in San Diego except against us.
That's right.
But obviously we've had some exciting new additions as well. What signings have you been most excited about this offseason?
I don't know if I'm excited about any of the signings.
Not sure? Thoughts on Rollins? Thoughts on Kendrick?
I mean, they're a little older than what I expected. I thought we were going to get some younger prospects in there. But, you know, bottom line is I just hope that they do well for us and that we go far with them and they help us out during the season. I mean...
Well, and of course, we know Jimmy Rollins has that great history in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
He's killed us over the years, and it's kind of nice to think that just maybe he can do some killing of some of the other teams in the National League on our behalf.
You know, I would hope so, but I thought the same thing about Victorino when he came over. He used to kill us, and then he came over here, he really didn't do too much for us. So I'm just hoping for the best.
So some skepticism, but also some hope.
Yeah, of course.
But you're talking, of course, about young prospects. Jock Peterson.
Okay, I mean, he tore it up down there in Albuquerque. Then he came up with us for a little bit, and I understand he didn't get a lot of playing time, but from what I saw, I wasn't impressed with him in the big leagues.
Of course, though, you've seen some of the highlights. You know that as far as defensive center field, he can turn it on.
Sure.
And of course, if he plays with that potential, it could be a very exciting year here at Dodger Stadium, whatever he's on the field.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm hopeful, and I'm, you know, hoping that these guys step it up during the season and they take us all the way. That's what my hope is, but, you know, I need to see it. I need to see it. I'm not going to go either way and make my decision right now about that. I need to see what they're going to do for the Dodgers.
So a little bit of a wait and see, but some signs for hope as well, especially if some of these guys play to the potential that they have.
Of course.
Now, of course, there are some locks for the opening day roster that maybe you are a little bit more excited about. Tell us about those.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Which players are you a little more excited about seeing what they're going to do this year?
Well, of course, Kershaw, our pitchers. I want to see what they have. I know Kershaw will come through. Greinke, I'm hoping he puts up a good year. I know he's on a contract here. He could opt out next season, right?
He could.
You know, I'm just hoping that they all just give it their all, and that this veteran team can take us away. Adrian Gonzalez, I'm excited about.
Adrian, I think, is poised to have just another solid, steady year. Personally, what about Tweed? Do you think that he gets a little bit more right in his head this year, and maybe has a little bit more of a breakout that lasts the whole season?
I think he is. I think he's maturing, and he definitely has the skills. You know, and yeah, like I said, I think he's matured. We'll have to see, though. You never know. You never know what's going to happen.
Now, last year, two big bench pieces for us that came through in a lot of ways and really helped the team out sometimes when they really needed a boost. Scott Van Slyke and Justin Turner. Obviously back with the team this year. What do you think that they mean as far as their roles as, you know, effectively they're utility players, but they also play really important roles. What do you see out of them this year?
Oh yeah, I see good things. I really like Van Slyke. I think Justin Turner is going to be a key player for us. You know, Van Slyke, I like him because he can, like you said, he's a utility player. He can come in and relieve Adrian for a little bit, give him a little bit of rest. I have confidence in him and Justin Turner.
Sounds great. And of course, last question. You come out to the ballpark between 10 and 20 times a year. You make the drive. What are you looking forward to the most coming to the ballpark this year?
Well, I'm hoping I see more wins than losses when I come over here and visit. You know, I'm just a fan of the team. I just want to see them play. I'm ready for some baseball, big time.
All right, and so is Joe Thomas, who has just come up.
What's up, man?
Surprise visit from Joe Thomas. Joe, are you excited about this season?
Absolutely.
You got any players in terms of new signings or people coming up that you're really excited about?
I'm excited about Yasmani Grandal. I'm excited about Brandon McCarthy. And I'm excited about Howie Kendrick.
Howie Kendrick is a big personal favorite of mine. I'm glad to see him in blue finally myself. What do you think about Jock Peterson? Do you think he's going to be boom or bust this year?
I'm hoping boom. You know, he's got to earn his job. Bottom line.
Bottom line, indeed. And how many times do you think you're going to come out to the ballpark this year, Joe?
Hopefully 30.
All right. I got my 20-game plan, but I plan to come more than that if I can.
Yes, sir.
Joe, Liz, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Go Blue.
Okay, a little bit of an irony. I'm filming Dodger films right now. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Eric's Dodgers blog formerly, now working with Dodgers-LowDown.
Cool.
And it's good to see you guys out at the ballpark today, too.
Good to see you.
So I'm just doing a little, probably the same thing you're doing, just kind of going around, filming some of the fans, filming some of the group people, and all that. Have you gotten any autographs or anything of that nature today?
I haven't gotten any, no.
So you've just been out filming?
Yeah, I don't really care about autographs.
All right.
But deep left is... All right, good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Good to finally meet you.
Good to meet you.
There's the handshake.
All right. The greatest part about being a Dodger fan is really just the fact that you get this experience that you cannot get anywhere else. Dodger Stadium has one of the most beautiful settings in all of baseball, with the hills up behind it. The cheap bleacher seats where some of the diehards sit. Up in the corner, more diehards. That's the foul pole that Juan Uribe wrapped the home run around to win the division series against Atlanta a couple years ago. Right over there, right field pavilion where Gibson's home run landed. And straight ahead, the pitcher's mound, home of greats such as Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale, Oral Hershiser, Fernando Valenzuela, and now Clayton Kershaw, 3-time Cy Young Award winner, and of course that's where he threw his big no-hitter back in June. Dodger Stadium opened in 1962, and it has hosted 4 World Series, an All-Star game, and some great international contests as well. Even hosted some non-sporting events. The Elton John concert back in '75 was a great one. The Pope has given Mass here. It's just really a great place to come for any event. And you can see a lot of people really enjoying this sunny January afternoon. And in a couple of months' time, the gates will be cleared, the bounce houses will be off the field, and the boys of summer will be playing ball. Well, it's been a great day to be here at FanFest. You know, when they say that Dodger baseball is a way of life, they aren't kidding. And the greatest fans in baseball are right here today, enjoying this afternoon. So, we here at Dodgers-LowDown hope that you will come out to this fine ballpark this year, experience some Dodger baseball for yourself if you haven't already, and experience again if you have, which we're sure many of you have. For all of the team at Dodgers-LowDown, I'm Eric Becker, and we'll see you at the ballpark this year.